The story of the Cannibal Cop is a fascinating and disturbing one that raises questions about the boundaries between fantasy and reality, and the limits of free speech and criminal law. Here is a summary of the main events and issues involved in this case. Gilberto Valle was a New York City police officer who had a secret online life, where he chatted with other people who shared his fetish for cannibalism. He used websites like Dark Fetish Network to exchange graphic descriptions of how he would kidnap, torture, cook, and eat women, including his wife, friends, and co-workers. He also used his police database access to look up personal information and photos of potential victims. His wife, Kathleen Mangan, discovered his online activities in 2012, when she opened their laptop and saw the images and messages he had been viewing. She was horrified and terrified, and fled to her parents' home in Nevada with their infant daughter. She also contacted the FBI, who arrested Valle and searched his computer. Valle was charged with conspiracy to commit kidnapping, a federal crime that carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. He was also charged with illegally accessing the police database for personal use. The prosecution argued that Valle was not just fantasizing, but had taken concrete steps to carry out his plans, such as researching potential victims, locations, methods, and equipment. They presented evidence from his online chats, emails, web searches, and computer files. Valle's defense team claimed that he was innocent, and that his online chats were nothing more than role-playing games that he never intended to act on. They argued that Valle had a right to express his fantasies online, as long as he did not harm anyone or violate any laws. They also challenged the credibility and reliability of the prosecution's witnesses and evidence. The trial lasted for 2 weeks in March 2013, and attracted a lot of media attention and public interest. The jury heard testimonies from Valle's wife, friends, co-workers, online contacts, experts, and Valle himself. They also saw graphic images and videos from Valle's computer, as well as transcripts of his online chats. The jury deliberated for 2 days, and found Valle guilty on both counts. He was remanded to custody until his sentencing date. He faced a possible life sentence for the kidnapping conspiracy charge, and up to 5 years for the database misuse charge. However, in July 2014, before Valle was sentenced, the judge overturned his conviction for the kidnapping conspiracy charge, ruling that there was insufficient evidence to prove that Valle had a genuine intention to kidnap anyone. The judge said that Valle's online chats were fantasy role play that did not amount to a criminal conspiracy. He also said that the prosecution's evidence was weak and ambiguous. The judge upheld Valle's conviction for the database misuse charge, but sentenced him to time served plus 1 year of supervised release. Valle had already spent 21 months in prison awaiting trial and sentencing. He was released from custody in July 2014. The prosecution appealed the judge's decision to overturn Valle's kidnapping conspiracy conviction, arguing that the jury's verdict was reasonable and supported by the evidence. The defense argued that the judge's decision was correct and that Valle's online chats were protected by the First Amendment. In December 2015, a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit affirmed the judge's decision to overturn Valle's kidnapping conspiracy conviction. The panel agreed that Valle's online chats were fantasy role-play that did not constitute a criminal conspiracy. They also said that the prosecution failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Valle had a real plan to kidnap anyone. The panel also affirmed Valle's conviction and sentence for the database misuse charge, saying that he violated his duty as a police officer by accessing confidential information for personal reasons. The prosecution did not seek further review of the case by the Supreme Court or by the full Second Circuit Court. The case was officially closed in January 2016. Valle has since tried to rebuild his life after his ordeal. He has written a book about his experience called Raw Deal: The Untold Story of NYPD's Cannibal Cop. He has also appeared in documentaries and interviews to share his side of the story. He has maintained contact with some of his online friends who supported him during his trial. He has also dated some women who are interested in his fetish or who are curious about him. He has said that he still has fantasies about cannibalism, but he does not act on them or discuss them online anymore. This is the story of the Cannibal Cop, a case that challenged our notions of crime and punishment, fantasy and reality, freedom and responsibility. It is a story that is both fascinating and disturbing, and that will likely continue to spark debate and controversy for years to come.